Thank you for purchasing Earth Map Connections. In this tutorial, we will learn how to customize the project using the included script. Before starting, it is important to remember that the script works exclusively with the After Effects project called Earth Map Connection, so please keep in mind that it cannot be used on new projects or different projects. Now let's open the After Effects project Earth Map Connections. The Earth Map composition is the main composition on which we will build our animation. As we can see, in this composition there are currently just two layers. The first one, Map Control, is a control panel. It will allow us to modify some graphic settings of our map. These settings will be shown later except for the last one called Map Offset, which must be modified before positioning our points in the map if required. What is the Map Offset control? Let's imagine we want to create connections between Australia and Alaska. Using the current map view, these connections will go northwest via Europe, a very long and not convenient route. To work around this problem, we can use the Map Offset control to shift the map. In this way, we will be able to use the shortest route. In fact, the connections are now going northeast. Remember that the map offset must always be changed before positioning the points, because these will not be linked to the map and consequently they will not follow the map offset. We can now start the script. Let's go to File, Script, Run Script and select Earth Map Connections.jsx bin. In this first example, we will create a simple animation by connecting 3 points in the map. We will start from Italy, arrive in Canada, and then start again direction Brazil. Earth Map Connections is a very complex project that automatically executes a lot of calculations and uses a very high resolution map, which causes great slowdowns to the preview and workflow. For this reason, a very useful function has been developed that speeds up by 70% the project preview time during the point positioning and connection creation. To activate this function, simply click on the Preview Speed Up checkbox. The map will be temporarily replaced with a low-resolution map, and the connections will be converted to 2D to evaluate their speed before being reconverted into 3D. The first thing we need to do is press the Add Point button. When the first point appears in the center of the map, drag it and place it in Italy. Let's add another point, move it to Canada, and finally create the third and last point, placing it in Brazil. Before creating connections between these points, make sure that their positions are correct, because once you create the connections, you will not be able to change the position of the points anymore. Now we are ready to create our connections. Select the first point and hold down the Ctrl key to select the second point. The order with which the points are selected is very important. The first selected point represents the point from which the connection starts, and the second point represents the arrival point. Press the Create Connection button. The first connection between Italy and Canada has now been created. Let's go on and select the second point. Press the Ctrl key, select the third point, and then press the Create Connection button again. As we can see, the two connections start at the same time with a default duration of 1 second. We can change the duration and the starting time just moving the respective markers, start and end. For example, if we want the first connection from Italy to Canada to start after 2 seconds and to reach its destination in 3 seconds, we should move the start marker at second 2 and the end marker at the second 5. Very important! Don't slide the connection layer instead of moving the markers, because it will not work. For the second connection, we could move the start marker to 9 seconds and the end marker at 12 seconds. In this way, there will be a 4-second pause before starting the connection from Canada to Brazil, and the line duration will be of 3 seconds. We can launch a RAM preview to verify that the connection speed is neither too fast nor too slow. If we like the result, we can begin to animate the scene. Let's make sure to place the time indicator at the beginning of the timeline, then select the first point and press the Go to Selected Point button. The camera will automatically be placed at about 45 degrees from the first point. Let's now change the camera position. We can move the camera forward or backward using the distance slider, change the elevation and the rotation. Once the camera position is set, move the time indicator to 2 seconds. Within this time, the camera will not have to move, so press the Wait button. Now let's move the time indicator to 5 seconds, which is the arrival point of the line in Canada. Select the second point and press the Go to Selected Point button again. Change the distance, elevation and rotation values to our liking. Let's now move the time indicator to reach second 9 and press the Wait button, because the camera should not move while in Canada. We now move the time indicator to second 12, select the point in Brazil and move the camera by pressing Go to Selected Point button. Launch a RAM preview to verify if anything works fine. Even if we have just created the animation, if we want to place another point, we can do it as well. To do that, we have to press the Add Point button and a new point will be inserted on the map. The problem now is that we haven't global view of the Earth map and could be difficult to move the new point in the correct place, so we have just to check the global view checkbox to see the entire map. Again, select the starting point, in this example the point 3, press the Ctrl key and select the new point, press the Create Connection button, adjust the start and end markers and uncheck the Global View checkbox. Move the time indicator to the start time of the new connection, press the Wait button, then move it to the arrival time, select the new point and press the Go to Selected Point button to automatically move the camera to the point 4. If accidentally we move the camera to a wrong point, we can press the Remove Last Position button and the camera will come back to the previous position. For example, if we want to remove the last connection and to create a new one from Brazil to Italy, we have to manually delete the connection and the point just created. Select the point in Brazil, then the point in Italy, and press the Create Connection button. Adjust the markers. Move the time indicator to the start time of the new connection, press the Wait button, select the arrival point, that is to say Italy, and press the Go to Selected Point. To remove the entire animation, we have to press the Remove Camera Animation button, so we can start to set the camera from scratch. Our animation is almost ready, but now we have to uncheck the Preview Speed Up checkbox to convert the map from low to high resolution and switch the connections from 2D to 3D. Anyway, it is recommended to keep the resolution to third or quarter to improve the workflow speed. Each connection layer has 5 effects. The first two effects must not be altered because they contain parameters and expressions shared with the script. We are interested in the last three controls. With the 8 control slider, we can change the 8 of the connection. If we set this value to 1, the line will be flat. With the width control, we can modify the width of the line, and finally with the fill effect, we can set the color of the line. As I said, each connection contains these controls, so we are free to customize each connection with a different look. We can now replace the referral pins with the animated pins. For a preview of pin styles, let's open the pins preview composition and choose the style we like best. Let's assume we want to use pin number 8. We need to go back to the main composition, Earth Map, and move to Elements tab in the script. After selecting all the points in the map, we are going to change the style to Pin Style 8 from the drop-down menu and then confirm pressing the OK button. All points will be immediately transformed according to the new style. It is also possible to assign a different style to each point. You just need to select a point, change its style, confirm with OK, and do the same procedure for each other point. If the pin is too little or too big, you can modify its dimension acting directly from the Scale property. Let's have a look at our animation. All the pins are currently coming into view at the same time. We want each pin to appear when the connection line reaches the corresponding point. We need to move the pin layer to the end marker of the connection line, which reaches that point. The last step involves customizing the information tabs. Earth Map Connections offers 60 information tabs, of which we can have a preview by opening the corresponding compositions. Here is a review of all the information tabs. 15 callouts with a one-line text used to insert a title. 15 callouts with a two-line text used to insert title and subtitle. 15 info panels used to insert title and description. 15 image tabs used to insert title, description, and images or video footage. We can use the same information tab style for all points, or we can choose a different style for each point. In this example, we are going to use the same callout with a two-line text for all points. Let's open callout 2 text lines preview and choose the style we like best. We want to select the fifth style, the one called callout table style 5. Let's now open the callouts 2 text lines folder, select callout table style 5, and duplicate it in order to have one style for each point on the map. In this case, we have 3 points, so we need to duplicate the callout 2 times. Press Ctrl plus D for PC or Command plus D for Macintosh to replicate the element, or go to Edit and select the Duplicate tab. We now have 3 copies of the same style. Let's begin customizing the first one. We need to open the composition and begin replacing the existing text. In the title, we are going to write Italy, in the subtitle, Headquarter. The first layer, Color Controls, is a control panel which we are going to find in all 60 styles. It allows us to modify each color inside the Information tab. We now need to insert information tabs in the map, localizing them in the correct position. So let's open the Earth map composition again and import a callout that we need to link to the point located in Italy. We are going to do a multiple selection. First, we select the point in Italy, and then, holding Ctrl down, we select the callout. We return to the script and press the Link Selected Info tab with Selected Point button. The callout will automatically be located on the selected point. Let's repeat this procedure for the other two callouts. All information tabs are located by default exactly over the point, but when the camera is too high over the point, there is a risk that the information tab visibility is not good. In this case, we need to modify the x-axis rotation of the image tab manually, and we can scale up or scale down the information tab using the scale property. As well as pins, even callouts need to be moved in order to appear at the same time of the corresponding pins. As easy as it sounds, let's drag each callout to reach the same position on the timeline of the corresponding pin. Here ends the first exercise. In the next one, we are going to create a more complex animation, starting from Spain, arriving in Brazil, stopping there for 3 seconds, and then starting again in 3 different directions: Argentina, Peru, and Venezuela. After another 3-second stop, a new branch will depart from Venezuela heading to Texas. We are even going to highlight some point of interest and customize the graphic appearance of the map. Let's go on. In order to start from scratch, we just need to press the Reset Project button. All connections and points previously created will be eliminated. If the composition contains information tabs or graphic elements, these should be manually deleted. Knowing that our animation will be focused in the area between Spain and America, we can also use the offset map to locate our interest area in the center of the composition. As shown before, we are going to use the Map Offset slider in the Map Control panel. We are going to add the points and locate them on the map. In order to simplify the identification of each point, we're going to rename them. Remember, all points can be renamed, whereas the connections should maintain their original name. Let's now create all the required connections. We first select the point in Spain and the one in Brazil, push the Create Connection button. Select the point in Brazil and the point in Peru and create a connection. Select the point in Brazil and the one in Venezuela, create another connection. Select the point in Brazil, then the point in Argentina, and create a connection. Finally, we select Venezuela and Texas and create the last connections. As in the previous exercise, we are going to modify the start and end points of each connection. We set the first connection from Spain to Brazil, starting after 2 seconds, and we select the speed, moving the markers closer or farther from each other. After a 3 seconds gap, we need to have 3 branches starting at the same time from Brazil to Venezuela, Peru and Argentina. What we are going to do is relocate the markers of each connection, leaving 3 seconds pause and setting the last connection from Venezuela to Texas. Let's launch a run preview in order to make sure everything has been done correctly and the connection lines are neither too fast nor too slow. If this happens, we can modify the marker's position. Let's set the camera position. We locate the time indicator at 0, then select the first point in Spain and modify the camera sight. We set the time indicator at 2 seconds, then press the wait button and move the time indicator to the end time of the first connection. Now we select the second point in Brazil. If we have any doubt about the point we are arriving at, for example because the point is not being framed by the camera, we can at any time enable the global view. So move the time indicator before the branch starts and press the wait button. Let's move the time indicator to the point where all the connections have reached their goal and press the wait button. Then we increase the camera elevation without moving the time indicator. Let's wait 3 seconds, then pause the camera for another 3 by pressing the wait button. The last connection starts from Venezuela and reaches Texas. We are going to wait until arrival, then select the point in Texas and press the Go to Selected Point button. Let's replace the reference pins with animated pins, for example with Style 2 pins. Then reset the start point as we have done in the previous exercise by dragging the correspondent layer in the timeline. We are now going to uncheck the Preview Speed Up checkbox in order to change the appearance of the connection lines. We can increase or decrease the height, enlarge or tighten them, and change their color. To work with a faster pace, let's choose a low resolution. Instead of using callouts to describe the locations, this time we are going to use image tabs so that we can learn how to insert images. Let's choose the image tab and move it to Brazil and Texas. We are now going to open the image tab's preview composition for a preview of the available styles. We can, for example, choose the image tab style 4. Let's now open the image tabs folder, duplicate the image tab style 4 composition, then import in the project the two images we want to use for the image tabs. After opening the image tab style 4 when composition, we can drag one of the images inside it. We are now going to scale the image and move it on the shape which will contain it, in this case an hexagonal shape, so that the image completely covers the shape itself. Now we move the image layer under the Your Image Below This layer, and as you can see, the image has been cut to shape. Let's modify title and description and use the Color Controls layer to change the colors of the image tab. We are going to follow the same procedure for the second replicated image tab. Let's now import the modified image tabs and link them to the corresponding points as we've already seen. And as previously done, we can move the layer in the timeline in order to make the image tab appear at the right moment. We are now going to highlight the interest points. In the Elements tab of the script, we can find the Countries Highlights panel. First of all, we need to move the time indicator to 0, then select the country, Spain, and click on the Highlight On button. Nothing seems to happen, but if we move some frames forward, we can see that Spain gets highlighted. By default, the highlight will appear and disappear after half a second. Let's move to the arrival in Brazil, select the corresponding country and press the Highlight On button again. At the end of each branch, let's select Peru, highlight it, then do the same for Argentina, Venezuela, and finally USA. Earth Map Connection even allows you to highlight each one of the 50 states of America. In this case, we can scroll the list, find out Texas, select it, and highlight it. In case we wanted to switch off the highlight on one or more than one country, we just need to select that country on the list box and press the Highlight Off button. Let's, for example, try and switch off the highlight on Brazil from the moment the branches start for the other 3 countries. If we want to completely switch off the highlight on a country, we just need to select it, then press the Remove Selected button. Let's try and do this for Argentina. In order to remove all highlights from all countries, we need to press the Remove All button. Another function of the script is the automatic zoom in and zoom out. If you habilitate this checkbox for the entire duration of the animation, the camera will automatically make slight moves forward and backward in order to avoid excessive staticity wherever it focuses on one point. Finally, let's discover the settings of the Map Control panel. The first control lets us modify the highlighting color for countries. USA countries color let us modify the color of the highlighted America states. Remove border lines from highlighted removes the border lines of highlighted countries. Whereas using highlight opacity, we can modify the opacity of the country highlighting. If we deselect the Hide Clouds checkbox, animated clouds will be added on the map. Enable word border lines enables or disables border lines on all the countries in the world, and we can use the word border lines opacity slider to set the opacity on border lines. Word border lines color allows us to change the color of border lines. If we click on the Enable Vector Map checkbox, the satellite view map will be converted into a stylized map in which we are allowed to change the color of the ground using the vector map color and the color of the sea using background color. Once all changes have been done, please remind to set the out of the work area according to the duration of the animation, then launch the rendering. That's all. Thanks for watching this tutorial and I hope you enjoyed this project.